Hello everyone, today is day 28, so I'm on my water fasting, and today I would like to talk about exit points, because I think it's very important to know when to exit. As I told you about those stages which we're going through when you go through the fasting, and the last one supposed to end with a very clear indication that you need to stop. And there are actually two types of indications. The first one is your tongue. Usually, during kind of our life, we accumulate lots of toxins, and the body is trying to eliminate it and not able to, because we are loading kind of our body with food on a permanent basis. And eventually, you could notice that your tongue have some kind of white layer over it. So when the full fasting is complete, one of the major indicators is that your tongue become pinky and there is no white layer anymore. So it means that the body doesn't have any toxins to get rid of, though it's really end. Usually it comes, that thing happens approximately on the 26th, 27th, 28th day. It depends, maybe 30. And the second indicator is the powerful feeling of hunger. So as I told you, you're losing that hunger when the body is switching to the second crisis. It's like after 7, 8, 9, 10 days. After that there is no hunger, and then that particular kind of feeling of like totally okay going on up to 20 something. I mean, well, that point particular is very specific because it depends on your weight. It could last that you don't have hunger up to 40 or more. I mean, if you're, for example, weight more than 100 kilos, yeah, maybe you need 2 months in order to feel that hunger again. But when the hunger comes, it's also an indicator of the end of your fasting, because the body is clean, so done. And the rule of the thumb is very simple. Whatever comes first. For example, if your tongue already clean, actually you need to go out from the fasting, even if you still don't have the feeling of hunger. If the hunger comes, but your tongue is still not kind of clean, still you need to go out. So whatever signal comes first, you need to kind of go out. In my case, it's a little bit, yeah, right now I'm aiming for a little bit higher purpose, because my tongue is kind of, sorry publicly showing my tongue, but it's already kind of clean, so it's pinky and there is nothing else left. It means that the body, the toxins are gone, so there is really nothing to eliminate. But because in my case I'm aiming for something different than just cleaning body on that particular physical level, I'm trying to reach some deeper stuff. So I will be continue up to be honest, I'm aiming for 40, but I will wait for the hunger and then we'll see. So I think it's supposed to be around 40, hopefully not more. I don't want to fast for 2 months. Anyway. And another point about exiting is, it's really important that I would like to mention is, I think the exit period, it's from my personal experience, like 35 years of fasting, that the exit period is practically even more important than the fasting itself. What I mean is that the whole benefits, the whole kind of healthy results from the fasting comes from your correct exit. And what do I mean by correct? Because the whole essence of that fasting is the body stop functioning and processing external food. It means that all your intestinals and all that peristaltic, that kind of movement of your intestinals which are pushing food permanently, everything is stopped. You can imagine that that in order to stop the process, if you remember, you went through the first and second stage. It took 7 days, for example, for you to stop everything. So do not expect that when you exiting out of fasting that everything will start to work immediately. It also requires time. So for example, if you fast 1-2 days, well, I mean, I would recommend to exit with at least half of the day, just juices, and then something very easy. So the main kind of rule is nothing fatty, nothing hard, nothing which require lots of processing and kind of difficult to absorb. So like meat or kind of. So when we are exiting, the best way to exit is with the juices, of course. It's a light, it's a liquid, and it's already giving your body a signal that it's time to kind of revive all those food processing kind of functions. So if you go for the 7 days or 8 days, the exit's supposed to be 2, maybe even 3 days of juices. And usually the juice, when you go out of fasting, is like every hour you need to have like a half of the glass or half of the cup of juice. And then next day, every hour, every 2 hours, 1 glass. So you are kind of getting portions a little bit bigger, but duration between portions a little bit longer. Ideally, well, there are lots of juices you could use, but from vegetable type of juices, the best probably is the carrot juice. And as for the fruits, preferably not very sweet. So it could be orange juice, but try to find oranges which are not super sweet, because now everything is somehow, I don't know, very, very sweet. So it's not good to load immediately with lots of sugar. So try to use juices which are somehow kind of not have a tendency to be too sweet. And if it's too intense, you could always dissolve it with some clean water. So it's, in the beginning, the body needs just to have a kind of time to start getting back to the processing of the food. And if you go for the long fasting, the longer the fasting, the longer the period of exit. And if, that's really tricky part, I need to warn you, because it's, I think it's a human nature. It's easy, like switch on and off. Like for example, I eat or I don't eat. Well, I mean, if you don't eat, you just don't eat. Totally different thing when you eat, but not too much. Yeah, I mean, it's already, that finding balance, it's already much, much trickier for human beings. And that's why, people think, okay, fasting is done. Now, wow, let's eat. And this is bad, because if the body is not still functioning, your intestinals are not pushing stuff forward. And there were even cases when people were dying. I mean, one guy, I think, ate 10 kilos of apples on the exit. And everything was completely stuck, because the intestinals were not really even ready to push that, So be careful, and it's nothing really super complicated, but the longer you fast, the longer the exit period. So as I told you, 1 day is not a big deal, nothing you need to be done. In 3 days, maybe half a day of the juices, and then something easy, maybe kind of soup, or maybe something kind of half liquid, anyway, not heavy. And then, normal food. If you go for a week or 2 weeks, yeah, that's already 3-4 days of juices. If you go more than 20 days, it's already 4-5 days of juices. In my case, I probably gonna go more than 35 days, like a 40. Then it's gonna be 6-7 days of juices exit. So yeah, as you can see, the period of exit is really important, and that's where you really need a will, kind of not start eating. And if you really kind of cope with that kind of exit challenge, then all the benefits of the fasting will be in full power. So be careful with that exit part, because it's I consider it the most kind of difficult and the most important part of the whole process. Okay? Well, I hope today's talk was useful. Thank you very much. And my next report will be probably next Sunday. It will be 35 days. Yeah, we'll see. Okay? Bye, everyone.